I never imagined that a quiet, peaceful neighborhood could turn into a battlefield overnight. One knock at the door changed everything: my wife's life, our home, and our sense of safety. The HOA had always been a minor annoyance, but this time it wasn't about fines or petty rules. It was about control and power. And the person behind it? Not just any neighbor. Karen had connections that could bend the law itself. Sirens outside weren't just noise. They were a warning. Would we survive this without losing everything? Or was our home about to become a nightmare we couldn't escape? Drop your location and comment. Let's see how far this story reaches around the world. Before any of this, life in our neighborhood felt ordinary, almost idyllic. Tree-lined streets, polite neighbors, weekend lawnmowers. My wife and I had spent years making our house a home, painting walls, planting gardens, and creating laughter and comfort. We respected rules, kept our lawn tidy, and waved at passing neighbors. Our life was simple, predictable, and safe. Every weekend felt like a scene from a quiet suburban storybook, but behind the serene facade, the HOA had a reputation. Karen, our neighbor, appeared charming and involved, almost motherly, but wielded authority like a weapon. Rumor had it she ran the state police force. Emails and notices began subtly. Your garden gnome is too large, please. Remove the grill from your patio. At first it seemed trivial, but each carried a tone that felt personal. My wife, normally calm, started dreading the mail. Something had shifted. The petty notes were just the beginning. The harassment escalated. Notices piled up like an avalanche. The garden gnome and the patio grill, suddenly public offenses. Each letter and email was polished and official, yet somehow malicious. Fines followed. Small at first, then larger and more frequent. Attempts to reason with the HOA bounced off rigid policies. Our home, our sanctuary, had become a source of daily stress and anxiety. Every interaction left us drained and fearful of what might come next. The neighborhood shifted around us. Some neighbors avoided us entirely, fearing Karen's wrath. Others who were once friendly now watched with suspicion. We felt isolated, like actors on a stage written entirely by Karen. My wife tried to stay positive, but the fear in her eyes whenever she checked the mailbox was unmistakable. Our private life was under scrutiny, and the sense of violation became unbearable. Then came the worst escalation yet, a formal HOA letter demanding my wife vacate our home immediately due to violations of occupancy guidelines. It was absurd and terrifying. How could a neighbor wield such power, turning laws into weapons against ordinary people? My mind raced, trying to process the reality that our sanctuary was now a battlefield, and we were the targets. And then Karen made the call, 911. Sirens wailed, lights flashed, and the reality of our situation hit us like a punch. Our home, the place that should have been safe, was now the epicenter of a confrontation none of us could have anticipated. Every instinct screamed that we were outmatched. Yet beneath the fear, a determination began to grow. This wasn't going to be just an eviction. It would become a test of resilience, courage, and strategy. The day of reckoning arrived quietly, deceptively ordinary, as if the neighborhood itself was holding its breath. Karen appeared on our porch, clipboard in hand, polished, poised, and exuding authority. Behind her, officers stood silently, their presence amplifying the tension. She began reciting alleged violations: improper landscaping, unauthorized decorations, supposed safety infractions, with a calm, calculated precision that felt like a personal attack. Each accusation landed like a blow, and yet beneath the surface, tiny cracks began to appear. My wife's hand gripped mine tightly. Fear mirrored in her eyes, while a spark of determination ignited inside me. The stage was set for the confrontation that would define everything. Then, the unexpected shift occurred. Officers hesitated, glancing between Karen and us, sensing the absurdity and injustice of the situation. I presented every piece of evidence we had meticulously gathered: emails, letters, fines, photographs, and recordings of previous harassment. Each document, clearly organized, exposed the pattern of abuse. Karen's confidence wavered. Her assumed immunity began to crumble. The phone call that was supposed to reinforce her authority instead delivered the final blow. The HOA board had reviewed the evidence independently. They sided with us. The threat of eviction, the fines, and psychological torment all collapsed under the weight of truth. It was a stunning reversal, one that transformed fear into vindication and relief. When the confrontation finally ended, the officer stepped back and Karen retreated. Her carefully cultivated aura of authority shattered. My wife and I stood in the doorway, heart still pounding, adrenaline slowly fading. Walking through our home without the weight of constant threat pressing down felt almost surreal. The garden gnome remained in its spot, the patio grill untouched, silent symbols of life reclaimed. Every room, every corner, once a battlefield for petty disputes and intrusive notices, now radiated calm. Relief washed over us like sunlight breaking through storm clouds, and for the first time in weeks, our home truly felt like ours again, a place of laughter, comfort, and sanctuary. In the days and weeks that followed, the neighborhood began to breathe a collective sigh of relief. Neighbors who had once kept their distance now emerged, offering empathy, support, and even apologies for their silence. Some admitted they had quietly suffered minor conflicts with Karen, but had been too intimidated to act. Conversations that were once cautious and quiet became open, empathetic exchanges. Karen's aura of invincibility had evaporated, replaced by caution and subdued shame. The HOA board underwent changes as well. Policies were revised, transparency was strengthened, and procedures were put in place to prevent such abuse in the future. Our stand had not only reclaimed our home but had subtly shifted the balance of power in the community, offering protection and hope to other residents. Reflecting on the ordeal, one truth became crystal clear. Meticulous preparation, calm determination, and courage can dismantle even the most intimidating threats. Fear is powerful, but it is never absolute. The weeks of tension, psychological strain, and harassment had tested our patience, our resilience, and the strength of our relationship. But emerging victorious, forged a bond stronger than ever. We learned that standing up to abuse with clear evidence, careful documentation, and unwavering resolve can reclaim not just a home, but dignity, peace, and trust. This story serves as a powerful reminder. For every Karen in a neighborhood, there are homeowners prepared to fight back, armed with courage, strategy, and clarity. No amount of assumed authority can withstand the weight of truth, preparation, and determination. Courage is contagious, and standing up not only protects your home, it empowers your community and restores balance where fear once ruled. If you found this story gripping, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more intense HOA and neighborhood drama stories, and share it with friends who love real-life suspense and drama. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to life.